I'm here today with Terry Welker. Terry, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you're going to be participating in this activity with us for Culture Works this year. I want you to tell me about this piece.
Well, this piece is titled Blue Ginkgos for the obvious reason that it has blue ginkgos in it. It's like, well, where do those came from? Well, it just came from my imagination. Ginkgos have been a part of my work for years as an icon of life, and it's my favorite local tree is the ginkgo tree, which drops its leaves all in one day, once a year, and so it's been a favorite of mine. But many people might be familiar with my work, particularly at the library because of fractal rain. But instead of 120 feet wide, this one's only 2 feet wide, and so it's much more residential or office scale, and so it's very easy to own a piece of from my collection, and I'm glad to share it. My work is all derived from, so I would say, forms of nature, or actually my memory of nature. So whether they're leaves and of different things, I take those things and I don't feel any restriction to change their color or play around with them. In this particular case, it's a very unique approach to form that I've started as part of what I call my museum series, where I'm combining black anodized aluminum and wood laminate, as you can see.
So it is wood.
Yes, this is actually cherry wood laminate on anodized aluminum. Anodized aluminum has been a part of my material vocabulary for years, and I really like that. And of course, it rotates 360 degrees, and it basically starts to move with very gentle air currents. Sometimes it's just opening a door or walking through a room, or your mechanical system kicking on, it'll start to move. And one of the things that's fun about them, particularly in residential settings, is that, when you're relaxing or whatever, it becomes with that object you want to stare at because it's moving. It's like a little bit like staring at a fish tank. It's like, oh, this is relaxing. And so you get lost in yourself by simply staring. And that's the sort of the best thing to do, is be lost in the moment. This one's about 3 feet tall as well, and it's at the bottom of the composition are a series of Swarovski crystals. And depending on where it sits in your house, if it sits in a place where it might get, for example, evening sunlight at the very end of the day, or morning sunlight at the beginning, when the sunlight hits it, it'll take the dichroic coating on these Swarovski crystals and do a light spray on your ceiling. So another little side benefit that I've learned over time as people have owned my work, to say, oh, wow, look what happened, And so, again, one of those so living in the moment kind of opportunities.
Wow, so this is really going to look great in my house. That's what I keep telling tenants. So let me ask you this question. Was there any other kind of art that you created before you moved into what you're known for? Which are these?
Well, I actually began my education in fine art as a painter. But about, I would say, 15 years ago, I was invited to participate in an installation at the Experience Center at the Dayton Art Institute.
Yes.
And I was sort of in charge of the earth and sky, and I happened to be in Washington when I was looking at the Calder Room at the East Wing of the National Gallery, and I just kind of felt like Saul on the road to Damascus, and I said, I got to figure that out. So, and I did, and so that was the beginning of it, And so I developed my own techniques for doing things, of course, my own language, but I've always enjoyed the work of Alexander Calder and Harry Bertoia, but also I derive ideas from wherever I get that. Sometimes my best ideas actually just come from hanging out in the hardware store. It's like, hey, what can I do with that? It's like, whether it's a found object or a connector, which is kind of what hardware stores are about. They're either about making things stick together or making them not stick.
Have your materials changed over the years?
They have. I mean, sometimes, well, initially, when I first started making these things, I didn't even know about anodized aluminum. I could even find it in these special colors. It's actually not widely available anymore, but I do have a pretty good stock of it. So I am able to, on occasion, introduce these things at a limited scale, but I've gone into a variety of polycarbonates and plastics, wood, metal, found objects, all of those things can contribute to it. So,
Wow. I am so glad you're joining us with this year.
It was my pleasure. I'm
Seriously,
thrilled.
seriously, this is wonderful. So, if somebody wants to find your work,
Hmm.
where's the best place? Is it online? Is it
They can go to welkerstudio.com.
okay?
They can follow me on Facebook or Instagram, Welker Studio on Instagram, and Terry Welker, architect sculptor, on Facebook. And I don't know, I have 2,500 friends or so. So adding new ones is always a pleasure.
That's
So,
the fun part.
yeah, sure.
Great. Terry, thank you so much for this. We really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure completely.
Great. Thank you.
Good luck with everything.
Absolutely.